Hello and welcome to another review. Today I'll be talking about Quest of Peril, a free-to-play dungeon crawler roguelike. The gameplay is pretty straightforward. You right-click to set your character in motion, and they automatically walk around and explore the dungeon without needing to be given any direction. As you move around, you'll encounter jewels on the ground, which you need to move your mouse cursor over to collect. The jewels will fill up the meter on the left side of the screen, and once full, it will restore your health as well as increase your maximum HP. You'll also encounter enemies who you'll have to fight and defeat to proceed. The combat is turn-based and works pretty similarly to the original Pokemon games. You need to consider the enemy's HP and damage output, and plan your moves accordingly, while rationing the limited use items in your inventory. Once enemies are beaten, they'll drop 2 random items that you can pick up and use, provided you have the capacity to carry them. And that's where the game really gets interesting, in managing your inventory. It's important to consider how many of each item you're carrying, as well as the synergies between them. There are elemental affinities that make some items work better together and become more powerful. Inflicting the shock status effect on an enemy and then using a lightning elemental item will result in more damage being dealt. Inflicting the passive status effects of burn and bleed can add up to significant damage over time, and when paired with a defensive item like the Mirror of Petrification, which cancels all incoming enemy damage for 4 turns, the player can manage even the toughest foes with relative ease. It's necessary to balance offensive and defensive items, and I think there is actually a fair bit of depth to the game that is overlooked in that regard. I say overlooked because when I read the Steam reviews, it seemed that some people went hard on this game, making it sound like you have no control and that death is inevitable. I think that's a fair assessment at first glance, but there is more to it than that. Sure, the ever-increasing difficulty of enemies can get you when you aren't equipped to deal with them, but with some strategic planning, you can greatly increase your chances of survival. I did have a number of deaths that caught me off guard, but they never felt unfair or unpreventable. It mostly depends on which items you choose to pick up and how you use them, and how you manage your health. Yes, there is some randomness that will affect each run, but that's the inherent nature of roguelikes. Besides that, you can purposely tank damage and chip away with your unlimited use wooden staff weapon if you think you'll get enough gems to heal after the fight. The risk and reward aspect is a part of the fun, and I enjoyed the game more when I played it this way. Another thing I like is how it feels like an NES game, both in the pixel art style and the way that it's difficult to beat but easy to replay. I think that older gamers might feel some nostalgia and look at it through a more forgiving lens like I did. Since this is free to play and has low minimum system requirements, I do recommend giving it a chance. For being free, it's definitely worth an hour or 2 of your time. Personally, I liked it more than I expected to, especially once I understood the game mechanics and could formulate strategies on the fly during each run. So go check it out and decide for yourself. I hope you enjoyed the review, and until next time, thanks for watching.